it's Andre. You're getting a very intimate look into my life this evening. Not only am I sans makeup right now, which is actually how I normally am, but I am sitting here in my childhood bedroom in New Jersey. I'm currently about in the middle of a East Coast little tour, adventure, trip, vacation. It's not really a vacation. I don't really actually know how to take vacations. I just end up working during the whole time. But yeah, it's pretty late at night over here. It's about 10 or 11 o'clock, and I just finished with a family party. I'm exhausted. I have, in the past 2 days, traveled across the country and then through 4 different states on the East Coast, and I went to a wedding. I did a photo shoot, and I spoke to some students at my old college campus, which is really trippy, outside of Baltimore, Maryland. And then made it here in time on Saturday the 25th to catch my grandmother's birthday party, where the big talk of the town for the party were my new knuckle tattoos, which are here. And I think the family's pretty much given up on me at this point in terms of expecting anything normal or traditional. So I feel like I've just crossed the threshold, and from now on everything's going to be fine. But that could also be wishful thinking. So anyway, it's been a bit of a crazy 2 weeks for me. I did some shoots for kink.com in the past 2 weeks, but there was also a moratorium, a production hold put on the industry once again. There was an HIV scare. From my understanding, that performer either did not actually test positive for HIV, it was a false positive, or they once again figured out that transmission had happened offset at some point in that person's life. So fortunately, I only lost one shoot because of that. It lasted about 5 or 6 days. And on either end, I had a really lovely experience working for kink.com again. I shot for this site. I'm like, oh my gosh, my brain is so dead. I shot for a site called Dungeon Sex last Tuesday, so last week, with Owen Gray, which I was really, really excited about, and it was pretty much exactly how I had imagined / fantasized. It was really, really lovely. And then this past Tuesday, I returned to the Ultimate Surrender site, which is girl on girl wrestling porn. For the first time in 2 years. About 2 years ago, I started wrestling with US. I did about 4 or 5 matches with them. I loved it. And then I tore my rotator cuff actually in a tag team match. And then I was kind of out of commission for a long time. So now I'm back, and I had a superb time shooting with now one of my regular co-stars, I guess I can say, Ingrid Mouth. It was our 3rd time shooting together. And you'll just have to watch the match on ultimatesurrender.com or kink.com to find out who won. But we had great fun, and we were incredibly evenly matched. We are both about the same height and weight and build, so and muscle mass. So it was very, very close. But that was really great. My shoulder feels great, thank God. And aside from feeling like my muscles got run over repeatedly by an 18-wheeler in the days that followed, I feel awesome. And I am really excited to return for more matches this season, because it's definitely a facet of the porn industry that that I love and that I feel like I excel at. And yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see it. So, what have I done? What did I do in Baltimore? I shot with one of my favorite photographers to work with. There really isn't that much work in Baltimore. If you're like a sex worker and you're watching this and you're like, oh, I didn't know I could pick up gigs in Baltimore. You can't, really. There's no porn being shot in Baltimore. There's some better stuff being shot in DC. Last time I checked, in Philadelphia. Even in New Jersey, but not really in Baltimore. But I There are a few photographers that I work with. I used to work with pretty regularly when I lived out there. Stephen Park, Rick Flutterman. Those guys have always given me really great work. Have always provided me with really creative, unique concepts to work with. And yeah, I did like a distressed like bride shoot in this like really amazing distressed like ruined tragic wedding gown that someone had donated for Rick Flutterman on Thursday. And this was the third time Rick and I had shot together. And the thing about Rick is that he uses all of this for his like personal projects, and I never see any of it. So I was yelling at him last time that I really want to see some of this work. So hopefully within the week he will send me some stills that I can show you guys. It won't be going up on the website as a full set yet, but it should be really neat looking. And then I visited one of my favorite sex toy stores, a store called Sugar. It's in Baltimore in part of town called Hamden. It's run by Jack Jones, and it is a really lovely queer and woman and trans run sex positive feminist sex toy store. And they just got a brand new location within the past year. It's a lot bigger. They have a whole like special classroom area. It's really spacious, and there are lots more products there than there were when I worked there when I was in college. But I showed up and chit-chatted and caught up with everybody, and Jack very graciously offered a generous discount to me to help replenish the $1,000 in BDSM equipment that I lost last week when my car was broken into. So I went shopping, and I started getting some toys. I got a nice silicone slapper by Tantus, and I got a new rodeo harness that I'm really stoked to wear. And I also got a stockroom leather and suede flogger, mini flogger. So you guys, I'm sure we'll be seeing those in some shoots in the near future. What did I do Thursday night? Oh, I spoke at Towson University. And that was so wonderful. John Flannery is a professor at Towson University. I'm sure he teaches other classes, but the class that I spoke at was an LGBT Studies 101 class, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender studies 101 class. And I was an LGBT Studies minor at Towson University when I was there, and that program is very, very close to my heart. And John brought me in to speak to students. There are about 30 people in the room, and they asked really lovely questions. Very multifaceted questions. I only got to I have literally just cards, like so many cards of questions, and each card had 4 questions on it. So I only got to 60% of them, and I was thinking that I would answer some of these questions over the next few weeks in my video blogs. I know a lot of the people from the classroom ended up friending me on Facebook and following me on Twitter, so hopefully they can get some of their questions answered that way. But before I get to that, let's see, I also went to a wedding. I hung out with some nationwide SWAP members, the Sex Workers Outreach Project people. There was a harm reduction conference in Baltimore City, ironically, the same time I was there. Lots of my friends were there, lots of my peers were there for the conference. And after the wedding last night, I went to the unofficial after party and rubbed shoulders with some of my favorite people, including my friend Cindy, who runs an organization called HIPS in DC, doing outreach for sex workers and providing resources and just generally being awesome. And also ran into Savannah Sly, who is a sex worker and activist living in Seattle, Washington, who is also just stunning presence if you ever meet her in person. And she was there with the Seattle chapter of SWAP. We had some folks from St. James Infirmary, including Emma Claire, out there representing St. James and gaining knowledge to bring back to the West Coast. So that was really cool to see some familiar faces in my college town. So yeah, that's about it. I'm just doing some family stuff, and then I'm heading to New York on Monday. Tomorrow, I teach 2 classes at Passional Sexploratorium at 317 South Street in Philadelphia. I am teaching one of my favorite classes to teach, which is my Flirting 101 class, dropping the hint, not the ball. And then I'm teaching my fisting and manual sex class for the first time ever. And I've invested a lot of time and money in preparing for this class, and it is something I am very passionate about. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I really wish I could have a demo bottom. Those classes tend to work a lot better when you have somebody demoing while you're teaching, but as the legalities are of that space, I can't bring any live people there. So so we'll see. We'll see how that is. We'll see how effective that class is without a live demonstration. So yeah, just to give you an idea of some of the questions that I did answer in class, I got, what is your favorite thing about being non-monogamous? Do you get to choose who you work with at all? What is the highest heel you've ever danced in? Was one of my favorite questions. What is the easiest, coolest, best way to respond to people who demonize and other sex workers? Let's see. What else? Lots of people wanted to know how much money I make, which is really funny. I find that in our culture where we're apt to either demonize or glamorize sex workers, people who glamorize sex work tend to think that we're just like laying back like while like money rains down on us all the time and just like rolling in cash. And yeah, if that were the case, I would have a lot more tattoos and I would drive a better car. So that is definitely a misconception and varies along with so many other things in the industry from performer to performer. Do people in the sex work industry get tested for STDs more frequently? Do you find yourself, when shooting a porn video, becoming sexually attracted to the other person? What was the craziest / wildest porn you were a part of? So yeah, those are just some examples of questions that I did answer. So now for a question that I have not answered. Let's see. Okay. This is an easy one. The money you made from stripping, did any of it go to taxes? No, I did not report any of that income when I was stripping. Let's see. Do you find substance abuse to be a problem in the porn industry? I do. I feel like people in the porn industry often get into this kind of work when they're very young, like 18 or 19 or 20 years old. And at 18, 19, or 20, in my opinion, not only are you not cognitively fully formed yet, but you also don't quite know what you want sexually at that point in your life. I'm sure there are a few very precocious exceptions, but the thing that scares me the most about younger people getting involved in porn is that at 18, 19 years old, you probably haven't had very many sexual partners. You probably don't know your body very well. You probably don't know that much about anatomy. You probably have not gotten a comprehensive sexual health education, so to be thrown into like a very hypersexualized environment where sex acts are being, monetized, and your body and parts of your body and your reactions to sex are all being monetized. That can be a really dangerous environment for people, and some people have different coping strategies for sex work. Some folks, let their sex work bleed very seamlessly into like their muggle life. Some people don't have a muggle life and they're just sex work all the time. And then some people are really good at compartmentalizing work over here and real life over here. And they have really healthy coping strategies. At 18 and 19, 20 years old, you probably don't have healthy coping strategies in general, and you're probably not that adept at compartmentalizing things yet. You just haven't had the life experience, and because of that, I feel like it opens people up to a lot more vulnerabilities than they would normally be exposed to, because in the porn industry, it's just like any other facet of the entertainment industry, and substances are everywhere, performance-enhancing substances as well as recreational substances. So hypersexualized environment, you know, feeling like you want to succeed and you want to please the people around you, not having super healthy coping strategies, mostly just based on lack of life experience. I think those things definitely lead to more substance abuse than other industries, and fortunately, I'm not somebody who's struggled with substance abuse. I have some friends who are now sober because they struggled in the past, and they've made some really difficult sacrifices and some really awesome personal growth to get to a better place. So yeah, I would say it is a problem. I would say that definitely not everyone has struggled with that problem or will ever struggle with that problem. And there's still diversity there, but that it is a problem. So, all right, that's my question for the night. I'm going to sign off, I guess, and go look over my notes for tomorrow's class. Is plural. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Also, exciting news, CC Bill finally approved the content for my website, so I will finally be rolling out membership within the week, which means that a bunch of new content will be up there, and lots of exciting stuff will be announced very soon. So, hooray! And I love all you guys. Take care. Bye.